I honestly have sat here and gone back and forth with myself if I wanted to create this video or not. And I know a lot of you guys are going to laugh at me, but the reason for this is a lot of people think that I only show up for the United downfall, that I'm here to watch United just fall apart. And it's the complete opposite. I want to see Manchester United win a Premier League again. I want to see Manchester United be in the semifinals of a Champions League. I want to see Manchester United be back to the glory days. And I want to tell you that I'm the first person to tell people that Ten Hag was the right manager for Manchester United. If you go back to my stream before they signed Ten Hag, when Ollie was there and I was on my live stream telling my viewers, Ollie at the wheel, making fun of them, saying he had to go, and the next manager at Manchester United should be 10 because 10 is the future of football, and 10 can get the best out of this team, and 10 can bring glory back to Manchester United. I said these things, bro. I said these things, but I think one of the biggest thing about being a human being is being able to say when you were wrong, and I was not just wrong, I was horribly wrong, and my take about Ten Hag was one of the worst takes that I've ever had. And I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm saying that like legit. I think Ten Hag is one of the worst managers to ever coach in the Premier League. Let me explain why before you come at me and start going crazy. I'm going to show you a couple tweets. And I'm also going to show you an interview that Ten Hag just did. And I want you guys to know that, in my opinion, Garnacho potentially could be the best player that Manchester United has had this season. And guess what? He treats a 19-year-old kid like garbage after he has done so much for you this season. And then there's quotes and now there's an issue between. Listen, I'm going to get into all of that in 1 minute. But before I do, I just want everybody to know that I want the best for Manchester United, bro. And I want to see them succeed. And I don't know what's next, okay, for this club. But what I do know is the greatest managers like Zidane, like Mourinho, like Guardiola, so many of them, personally, in my opinion, when they had a problem with a player, the world didn't know all about it. The world knew something was going on, but they quickly dealt with it behind the scenes, or they just sold the player and moved on. There's been, obviously, you know what I'm saying? There's been vocal stuff, but this is out of control. I don't know if I can remember Guardiola having a problem with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players, okay, in such a short period of time. I don't know if I have that, if I can say that about Mourinho. I don't know if I can say that about Ancelotti, Zidane. I don't know if I can say that about any manager except for Ten Hag. Now, you're probably saying, what is Skills talking about? And I'm going to show you a tweet quickly. Issue with Cristiano Ronaldo, issue with Sancho, issue with Varane, issue with Anthony Martial, issue with Garnacho, issue with Anthony. Let me add a couple more onto this list. Issue with Marcus Rashford. Now, I don't know if the Marcus Rashford was brought onto himself because he was chilling at nightclubs and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it was an issue. He brought it to light. He talked about it after games. He didn't put him in the squad, all kinds of stuff like that. There was also issues, if you guys remember back, and I don't know how much these issues were like whatever, but remember that when Manchester United signed Casemiro, which that was what every United fan wanted, was a legit defensive mid. Everyone said, including myself, when Manchester United got a legit defensive mid, they would be able to play great football. Well, they got their defensive mid, and I believe he had just come off of having a crazy awesome performance in a Super Cup for Real Madrid, I think. He had just been like one of the best players for Real Madrid when Manchester United bought him in like a Super Cup, I think it was, something like that. He joins Manchester United, and then Ten Hag wouldn't start him for weeks, talking about, not ready, blah, 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 blah. Like, yo, that's crazy. If you can start for Real Madrid, you can start at Manchester United, and every Manchester United fan will agree with that. If you can start at Real Madrid during that time, you could definitely start for Manchester United, and that's just what it is. But anyways, that's not a big deal. Anyways, we can laugh for a second about this. You missed also issue playing football, issue with tactics, issue with winning. That's funny, but we're not here for the bands. We're here to be serious right now. Anyways, this all takes place, okay? And you guys are probably wondering, yeah, but Skills, what if it is the players at Manchester United? Let me just give my 2 cents real quick, and this might be really stupid, but I've never really heard many managers come out and say Ronaldo didn't work, Ronaldo wasn't for the team, Ronaldo didn't, nothing, right? Most players like Garnacho and stuff, they liked playing with Ronaldo, and they looked up to Ronaldo, and Manchester United could probably use the way that guy works. Now, with that being said, What makes me so mad about Ten Hag is I'm starting to feel like he thinks he's the main character. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, what does Ronaldo, Sancho, Varane, Garnacho, and Anthony all have in common? Let me tell you. Anthony was a star at Ajax. Garnacho's becoming a star very quickly in the Premier League. Varane was a superstar, right? With that Real Madrid team. Like him, Ramos, superstars, all that team superstars. Sancho was supposed to be better than Haaland and better than Sancho. He was, better than Jude Bellingham. He was supposed to be the best one coming out of Dortmund. Cristiano Ronaldo, mega star. Him and Messi, the best of the best. What do you see here? He has a problem with all of them. He has a problem, it seems to me, with anyone that seems to be like up here. Anyone that's a top player, a star, he seems to not know how to deal with them. I don't know if it's an ego thing. I don't know if he wants the world to rotate around him and he wants Manchester United to rotate around him. I don't know if every time he opens the paper or the internet, he wants his face on it. I don't know what it is, but it seems to me that every single time anyone is cooking or anyone is something, he has a problem with them or a problem somewhat comes from them or something. And one thing I've noticed with him, and I don't know if I'm tripping, but I don't know if it's like he seems to really hold grudges or something against players. I don't know what it is, but for me, this is an issue, bro, because think about it. Who else at United that I haven't said here? Because again, at one point, the thing with Casemiro, who also, let's digress for 1 second. De Gea was one of the biggest names at Manchester United for a long time. Guess what? He's no longer there. Why? Because he made mistakes. But he brought in Onana, who probably makes almost the same amount of mistakes, but they needed him because he could play out the back. At the end of the day, it seems another big player, another big issue with De Gea. That's all I'm saying. Now, let's stop talking for a minute and let me show you what just took place today. This is very, very important.
There's a danger you get caught in 7th place. If you fall below 7th, that would be the worst finish in Premier League history for United. Do you think you're going to be above?
I don't gonna take that question. It's not that is not important at this moment.
Try.
It's not important and walks away. Now, first of all, I want to bring something over to you real quick. You know how everyone's going around calling United the blue bottle jobs and the bottle job, Chelsea the bottle jobs and all this about Chelsea, laughing, making fun of Chelsea? I want you guys to understand that right now, if Google's right, if Chelsea wins their next 2 games, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, they are on the same points as Manchester United. Okay? They are on the same points as Manchester United if Chelsea win their 2 games that are behind. What I'm saying to you is that you can't go around making fun of Chelsea when you're having literally the same season as Chelsea. And people will try to defend it by saying, well, listen here, the Chelsea wastes more money. It's not about who spent more money or doesn't waste more money. It's Chelsea Football Club and Manchester United are in terrible positions right now. And Ten Hag needs to take account for that. But instead, when the question gets hit, hey, you could get the worst United finish ever, he runs away from it. And then he runs away from it, and he has a problem with every single player. I want to bring something up to you really, really quickly, okay? You guys see right here, Garnacho has liked a tweet from what I'm seeing from my boy Mark, and it says, Ten Hag blamed Garnacho in the post-match press conference. Not a good look throwing a 19-year-old under the bus who has actually delivered for you this season. But then again, he's clearly scared of upsetting the bigger earners. It's what I keep telling y'all. Every time a player is cooking, every time a player, it's like he causes more of an issue that needs to happen, bro. How are you going to throw a 19-year-old kid under the bus and and people still want to defend this manager, bro? You're the manager. You're meant to be helping these kids grow. You're meant to be getting the best out of them, okay? By throwing him under the bus, substituting him early, it's just not a good look for Ten Hag. I can sit here right now with you and I can try to name something good that Ten Hag has done for this club outside of a decent finish last season. I can't. An energy cup, like what are we doing here, bro? Like what what are we doing? And I know going through managers like this quickly is not the answer. I agree with that. I do agree massively with that. But here's the biggest thing for me, lads, is that you can't keep having issues with so many players and stick around. That's just not going to work. Because when issues become known to the public, players' values go down. And when players' values go down, you are hurting the club more than you are helping the club. How much is Garnacho worth if they know that Ten Hag, let's say Ten Hag has a real big problem with him and doesn't play him for the next 2 months and tries to sell him in the summer? Let's just hypothetically speak. Other clubs know there's a problem there. How much is Garnacho worth now, right? How much is a player worth if you constantly have a problem with them? It's not a lot. Unless you put a player like Sancho on loan and then he goes and cooks at Dortmund and you comes back and maybe somebody tries to purchase him. That's honestly the only way, because Ten's way of having issues with players, you're not going to earn money on these players when you try to get rid of them. And that's not a good philosophy for a club. And also, if you're 19 years old and you're looking at Manchester United and thinking, you know what, I really want to play for the Red Devils. Okay, maybe you do, but then you see the issue with Cristiano. You see the issue with Anthony. You see the issue with Garnacho now. You see the issue with, and you start to think to yourself, hey, do I really want to play for that coach? Do I really want to be a part of that? Do I really want to put myself in that situation? Signing players become more difficult. How many veterans want to play for this guy? You did Varane dirty. You've done De Gea dirty. You did Ronaldo dirty. Casemiro, who knows, he's probably going to be out soon. But like, what are we doing? What are we actually doing? Because now, is there any veterans that want to play for you? Is there any young kids that want to play for you? And then on top of all of this, to really stir up the pot, the football is ugly. The football is terrible. You understand? When Ollie didn't have the boys playing good, you kind of expected it because he was a player becoming a manager. It was like your transition type thing. With Homeboy, you've been a manager. You had Ajax cooking at one point. And when they asked you the question, hey, yo, why don't you play good ball here? He's like, oh, Ajax is different. We're a different type. I wasn't signed to play Ajax football. You weren't? What were you signed for then? You weren't signed to get the boys to play Ajax football. You weren't signed. What were you signed for exactly? Because you could potentially get the worst Manchester United finish ever. What were you signed for? So the football's not good. The issues with players is consistent. You understand? The bad results is consistent. Getting grouped in the Champions League, that's not a good look. I can't name good things here, lads. And I wanted Ten Hag to be the one. I wanted Ten Hag to be the next manager for the next 10 years for Manchester United. But this ship is sinking. And I'm not going to sit here and blame the board no more, because the board doesn't cause the issues with the players. Ten Hag does. I'm not saying the board is good. I'm not saying the ownership is good. I'm saying all of that's a mess too. But when all that's a mess, and then you put a mess of a manager in there, the club is only going to continue to go in the absolute wrong direction, lads. Like, I just don't understand, man. Lads, I'm baffled by this man. You guys know where I stand with him. I don't like the way he's running Manchester United. I think he's running Manchester United into the ground, if I'm being fully honest with you. I feel really bad for the young players at United. He has such a star. The one good thing I will say, and I said this to my boy, you know, me and Castro were driving this weekend or last week, and I told him, I said, yo, the one good thing Ten Hag has done is he's put these kids playing, like Mano, Garnacho, but now he had a problem with Garnacho. So I guess I kind of have to go back on what I said there. But at the end of the day, lads, if I'm being fully honest with you, I give him that. He has put a lot of young players playing. I don't know if we can say that's because of him, or is Mano so talented that he would have broken into the lineup with anybody, because he's very talented. He's so good. He's such a class player. But at the end of the day, he has put these players playing. So for that, that's a W. I give him mad props for that. But with all that being said, what else has he done? It hasn't been good. It's not good enough, man. It's not good enough to be at Manchester United, in my opinion. Hey, man, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I know everybody's going to slay me and be like, yo, Just keep watching Benfica. Don't worry about my club. I get it, bro. But I just want to see y'all win, dude. I just want to see y'all win. That's it. Just win.